Hello student, welcome to my class. Today I am going to take class 10th history chapter 1 and the name of the chapter is The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. So let's proceed. So your chapter start with this figure. In this figure you can see that there is a procession of people going forward towards a statue. This picture is one of the four prints made by philosopher Frederick Soreyo. He made 4 prints and the picture shown to you is one of his first print of those 4 series of print. In this picture, he is imagining an utopian society, a society in which he is visualizing that there is a setup of democratic and republican government in the country and the monarchy is overthrown. And in this figure, he is also showing that the remains of the monarchical government, the absolute monarchical government is lying on the road in the front and people are processing toward the Statue of Liberty. He is also trying to show that the people who are processing and participating in this procession are wearing the costume of their nation and they are holding the flag of their nation, and this procession is led by the country France, and there are so many other countries also depicted in this picture like Germany, Switzerland and many others who are also about to become national democratic and they are also walking toward the Statue of Liberty. In this picture you can see that the Christ, saint, angels all are seeing this scene from the above and feeling so happy, and they are blessing the procession and they are feeling that now finally the monarchy is overthrown and democratic republic is set up. So this painting is actually made by Frederick Soreyo. It was made when there was a no nation state established in the Europe. And in this picture, he visualized many issues, and many of such issues we will discuss in this chapter. In this chapter, we will see how nation state formed and how nationalism developed in the countries of Europe. I discussed this picture because this picture is important. Sometimes it comes in the board exam and asks you to analyze the picture. So the idea of nation state and nationalism was actually very new to the European country in the 19th century. So the question arises, was there no nation state in Europe earlier? The answer is absolutely no. There was no nation state in Europe earlier. Actually, there was a multinational dynamic European empire. It was a rule of an emperor, where the king from its generation, from the same dynasty, used to rule the place. And there was a multinational people. What do you mean by multinational people? Multinational people means the people with so much of diversity. There were different ethnicity, different languages, different culture, different custom and different geographical variation. Though they were the part of the same empire, but they had no feeling of unity or connection. Yes, of course, there was a modern state at that time in Europe, but not a single nation state. It was French Revolution. It was the event of French Revolution which actually led to the establishment of nation state and nationalism in Europe. So, what is a nation state? To become a nation state, you need some characteristic to be fulfilled. You need some requirement to be fulfilled. If the place is fulfilling those characteristics or those requirements, then that place can be called as nation state. So what are those characteristics or the requirement? The first one, there should be a sense of common identity. What do you mean by common identity? That means the people should feel that they are same. Like in India, we all feel that we all are Indian. Second, they should share a common history. Their history should be common. And third, there should be a struggle from their fathers and from their forefathers to establish the nation state in the country. And last, there should be a government in the country which should be of the agreement of the people. Then what is a modern state? Modern state is a state in which we have a centralized power control over an area or centralized sovereignty over an area. Wherever there is a central control, there is a central sovereignty, then you can call it as a modern state. But a modern state cannot be called as nation state. To an area to become a nation state needs so many characteristics which we just now discussed. So first event which led to the establishment of nation state and nationalism in Europe was French Revolution of 1789. So let's discuss it. So it was actually the first expression of nationalism in Europe. Earlier, before the French Revolution, the power was with the King Louis XVI. And of course, the king has lot of central power over the area, but actually there was no unity in their society. Their society was so different, so unequal, so diverse, which you studied last year. They were divided into 3 states, and there was lack of unity and equality in the society. Then, due to this inequality, people revolted and the power transferred from the Louis XVI to the French people. And there is a question how this French Revolution happened, how the people got the courage to overthrow such a powerful absolute monarchy. It was only because there was a rise of nationalism among the people, and the responsible people behind it was the revolutionaries. So how the idea of nationalism instilled among the people of France, how this nationalism feeling developed among the people of France? There are so many reasons behind the development of nationalism in the heart of the people of France. And the first one is new phrases. There was a use of new phrases at that time like la patrie and la citoyen. La patrie means fatherland and la citoyen means citizen. These phrases made a connection between the land and the citizen. They now started believing that this land is not just a piece of land. It is the land of our father and forefather, and we are its citizen. And so the connection established between the land and the people, which was absent in the France, and which was absent in the France actually before it was not there. Second thing was use of French flag. French flag also encouraged people to have the feeling of nationalism. They developed a connection with the national flag. The revolutionary came with the new tricolor flag. They did not use the old royal flag because the old royal flag was the symbol of autocratic rule, and the people wanted to abolish this, and so they brought a new tricolor flag so that all the people feel respected and connected to the flag, and they develop a love for their country. Then third one is National Assembly. Instead of State General, National Assembly was set up by the people when some power came in the hand of public. And this National Assembly was actually elected by the active citizen of France. And there was a political representative now in France, which led to the formation of new constitution, and freedom was given to the people. Fourth one is internal taxes. Internal taxes were removed from the country because now the people were thinking that when we all are equal, when we belong to the same country, why should we pay the internal taxes? And also to bring the unity in the economic line, they adopted the uniform weighting and measuring system. Fifth one is they removed the regional dialects, local languages in the country, because they thought if the people will speak different local languages, then there cannot be a unity. So they imposed French language as a common language and encouraged everyone to speak in France so that they feel same and their unity can be established. And also there came the uniform law which established equality before the law for the all citizen. And new hymns, new poems, new songs were composed, and people started singing those poems and songs. And when they used to sing those poems and the songs, they used to feel connected and united. So how the idea of France was spread all over the Europe? Okay, the nation state nationalism developed in France, but how this idea actually spread to all the countries of Europe? So it was actually spread by the revolutionary. They were the first and foremost responsible people behind the spreading of the ideas of nation state and nationalism. Because when they brought nation state and nationalism in France, they thought it is their duty now to spread it all over the Europe. It was also spread by French army men. French army men, wherever they used to go, they used to take along with them the idea of nation state, the idea of nationalism, and the idea of French Revolution, and spread it all over the world. The third factor responsible for spreading this idea all over the Europe was Jacobin Club. It was a political organization, and it brought the political awareness among the citizens and also developed the feeling of nationalism among the citizens. So now we will discuss about Napoleon Bonaparte, who ruled France from 1799 to 1815. Actually, after some time, when the power was passed from the king to the public, after some time the rule of Napoleon Bonaparte was established in the France. So who was he? He was a French military dictator, and he came to the power when the France was boiling. The revolutionary ideas was on the top, and the neighboring countries were very scared of France, because all the neighboring countries had monarchy rule, and because they had monarchical rule, they were scared. Like in the France, the monarchy is overthrown, the king is overthrown. Same way, the monarchy will be overthrown in our country also if the ideas of France spread in our country. So they were scared of France, and they tried to attack the France. And at that time, Napoleon Bonaparte saved France from the neighboring country. Napoleon Bonaparte was half hero, half villain. He did so many good things, but he also abolished the democracy after coming to the power and established the monarchy. Democracy, which was established after so many difficulty, was removed by Napoleon Bonaparte. But of course, he introduced very good administrative system, that was Civil Code of 1804, and it was also called as Napoleonic Code. So now the question is, what is Civil Code or what is Napoleonic Code? So actually the Civil Code, Napoleonic Code, which was introduced by Napoleon to have a good administration, includes so many points. Like he established equality before law, he established uniform law, and said that now the law is unbiased, it's not partial to anybody, everybody is equal before the law. He also abolished the privileges given to the people according to their birth. Like if the people are born to the clergy family or the people are born to the nobility, then they used to enjoy some privileges in the France, which was abolished by Napoleon Bonaparte. He also gave right to property to everyone, and he said that if we are working hard, we are earning, then we should have the right to make property. Then he also abolished the feudal system in which the farmers were suffering from the aristocracy class. He developed the transport and communication so that his country can develop. He also removed the restriction from the guild, because the guild used to put so much of restriction on the trade and commerce and were stopping those trade and commerce to expand. He also adopted the standardized weight and measures so that the country can have uniform standardized weight and measure. He also freed the peasants from the serfdom and abolished the manorial dues, the dues which farmers used to give to aristocrats. So were the people happy with Napoleon? So this answer is actually a mixed feeling. Earlier, people were very happy with the Napoleon and the French army. Wherever they used to go, they were respected, they were welcomed. Whether it is Switzerland, Holland or Milan, they were called as harbingers of liberty. But later on, people developed a hostile feeling towards Napoleon and the French army because they thought that the disadvantage of Napoleon is quite more than the advantage given by the Napoleon. So what were the disadvantages given by the Napoleon rule? So first and foremost, the first disadvantage of Napoleon rule was the taking back the political freedom and abolition of democracy. Now the people did not had right to select or elect their representative. He also imposed censorship on expression, censorship on opinion. Now people cannot express themselves, and French people were extreme lover of liberty, and when censorship was imposed on them, they felt quite unhappy. The taxes overall increased in the France, though he abolished the internal taxes, but overall taxes were increased because he wanted money for his army. He also was forcing the people to join his army because he had the dream of conquering the whole Europe. Women were also not respected and given importance in his rule because the women did not have the political right. They were quite dependent on their husband or on their father. Then when and how did the Napoleon rule came to an end? Then British, Russia, Austria, Persia, they all made a group and fought with Napoleon in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. And in this battle, Napoleon was defeated and removed from the power with the signing of Treaty of Vienna. So with this, Napoleon rule came to an end. We will continue with this chapter in the next part. If you like my video, please do subscribe it. And if you want note, you can note down from the video by keeping a pause in the video, or you can take the screenshot and have the printout, and this will help you a lot. Thanks for watching and happy learning.